In the first part, we have seen that the king has decided to consult the hermit, so that he left the palace and now he is going into the woods to meet the hermit. When the king approached, the hermit was digging the ground in front of his hut. Seeing the king, he greeted him and went on digging. The hermit was frail and weak, and each time he stuck his spade into the ground and turned a little earth, he breathed heavily. The king went up to him and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer three questions. So the three questions are: how can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I most need? And to whom should I therefore pay more attention than to the rest? And what affairs are the most important and need my first attention? So these are the three questions. The hermit listened to the king but answered nothing. He just spat on his hand and recommenced digging. You are tired, said the king. Let me take the spade and work a while for you. Thanks, said the hermit, and giving the spade to the king, he sat down on the ground. When he had dug two beds, the king stopped and repeated his question. The hermit again gave no answer, but rose, stretched out his hand for the spade, and said, Now rest a while, and let me work a bit. But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. 1 hour passed, and another. The sun began to sink behind the trees, and the king at last stuck the spade into the ground and said, I come to you, wise man, for answer to my questions. If you can give me none, tell me so, and I will return home. Here comes someone running, said the hermit. Let us see who it is. कोणतर तिकडे पळत आला आणि तो त्याला म्हणतोय, चल बघ आता कोण आलंय ते बघूया. The king turned around and saw a bearded man come running out of the wood. The man held his hands pressed against his stomach, and blood was flowing from under them. When he reached the king, he fell fainting on the ground, moaning feebly. The king and the hermit unfastened the man's clothing. There was a large wound in his stomach. The king washed it as best he could and bandaged it with his handkerchief and with a towel the hermit had. But the blood would not stop flowing, and the king again and again removed the bandage, soaked with warm blood, and washed and rebandaged the wound. When at last the blood ceased flowing, the man revived and asked for something to drink. The king brought fresh water and gave it to him. Meanwhile, the sun had set and it had become cool. So the king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. Laying on the bed, the man closed his eyes and was quiet. But the king was so tired with his walk and with the work he had done that he crouched down on the threshold and also fell asleep so soundly that he slept all through the short summer night. When he awoke in the morning, it was long before he could remember where he was or who was the strange bearded man laying on the bed and gazing intently at him with shining eyes. Forgive me, said the bearded man in a weak voice, when he saw the king was awake and was looking at him. I do not know you and have nothing to forgive you for, said the king. You do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of yours who swore to revenge himself on you because you executed his brother and seized his property. I know you had gone alone to see the hermit, and I resolved to kill you on your way back. But the day passed and you did not return. So I came out from my ambush to find you. And I came upon your bodyguard, and they recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from them, but should have bled to death had you not dressed my wound. I wish to kill you, and you have saved my life. Now, if I live and if you wish it, I will serve you as your most faithful slave, and will beat my sons to the same. Forgive me." The king was very glad to have made peace with his enemy so easily and to have gained him for a friend. And he not only forgave him, but said he would send his servants and his own physician to attend him, and promised to restore his property. Having taken leave of the wounded man, the king went out into the porch and looked around for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to beg an answer to the questions he had put. The hermit was outside on his knees, sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before. The king approached him and said, "For the last time, I pray you to answer my questions, wise man." "You have already been answered," said the hermit, still crouching on his thin legs and looking up at the king, who stood before him. "How answered? What do you mean?" asked the king. "Do you not see," replied the hermit, "if you had not pitied my weakness yesterday, and had not dug those beds for me, but had gone your way, that man would have attacked you, and you would have repented of not having stayed with me. So, the most important time was when you were digging the beds, and I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business. Afterwards, when that man ran to us, the most important time was when you were attending to him. For if you had not bound up his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. So he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business. Remember then, there is only one time that is important. Now, it is the most important time because it is the only time when you have any power. The most necessary man is he with whom you are, for no man knows whether he will ever have dealings with anyone else. And the most important affair is to do him good, because for that purpose alone was the man sent into this life. So this is the ultimate aim of the central theme of the prose, the three questions, that we have to do the service. This is the noble cause. We have to do service of the people, service of the needy one, and that is the right time, important time, and the important man for whom we are serving. So, all our thinkers, philosophers like Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, Mahatma Gandhi, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Rabindranath Tagore, Swami Vivekananda, Yogi Aurobindo, each and every saint, seer, monk is serving of the humanity. Sant Dhaneshwar has seen a very beautiful dream of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So friends, it is our ultimate aim that we have to spend our life in the service of needy one. We have to help, we have to extend our helping hand to the needy ones, because we all the sons of farmers, and the farmer is the creator of this universe, that he knows the importance of sowing. So if you sow a quality seed in the mother earth, then definitely the outcome is also of quality. Sant Tukaram has also very rightly said that Shuddha bija poti phale rasa gomati. Likewise, शुद्ध बीजापोटी बीज सुद्धा तेवढंच शुद्ध हवं आहे, आणि त्याच्यामुळे आपले कर्म बीज म्हणजे काय, तर आपले कर्म आहेत. मग आपले कर्मसुद्धा तेवढेच त्याच ताकदीचे असायला पाहिजे. ज्याला ज्याला म्हणून गरज असेल त्याच्या पाठीमागे आपण उभं राहिलं पाहिजे, त्याला मदतीचा हात पुढे केला पाहिजे. आणि या करोनाच्या पार्श्वभूमीमध्ये तर प्रत्येकालाच मदतीची गरज होती आणि त्या वेळेस खंबीरपणे आपण सगळेजण एकमेकांच्या मदतीसाठी उभं राहणं गरजेचं होतं. जय जय म्हणून एकमेकांच्या मदतीसाठी उभे राहिले त्यांना खरोखर धन्यवाद दिले पाहिजेत. त्याच्यासाठी म्हणून आपले सगळे जे हेल्थ वर्कर्स आहेत, पोलीस कर्मचारी आहेत, सर्व्हिस सेक्टरमध्ये काम करणारे सगळे मंडळी आहेत, ह्या सगळ्या मंडळींनी या सगळ्या कालावधीमध्ये मदत केलेली आहे आणि ते देवाचंच रूप घेऊन या ठिकाणी आपल्या मदतीसाठी उभे राहिलेले आहेत. तर अशाच पद्धतीने आपण ज्या ठिकाणी आहोत आपल्या क्षमतेनुसार आपण सुद्धा इतरांना मदत केली पाहिजे. आपले जे आतापर्यंत आपण 2 प्रोज बघितले, 5 पोएम्स बघितल्या. या 5ही पोएम्समध्ये आणि या 2ही प्रोजमध्ये आपल्याला तोच एक मेसेज, अल्टिमेट मेसेज जो मिळतो आहे तो म्हणजे सर्व्हिस केली पाहिजे, मदत केली पाहिजे. आणि ही मदत ज्याच्याकडे काहीतरी आहे त्याच्याचकडनं मागितली जाते आणि तीच खरं त्या व्यक्तीची धन्यता असते की ज्यावेळेस तो इतरांच्या कामी पडतो, इतरांची मदत करतो. म्हणजेच काय, तर काही नाही तर आपण तर आपलं रक्तदान तरी करू शकतो, रक्ताची मदत तरी देऊ शकतो, श्रमदान करू शकतो, अन्य प्रकारे अनेक प्रकारे आपण इतर लोकांची मदत करू शकतो. फक्त त्यांना मदत करण्याची इच्छाशक्ती आपल्या मनामध्ये उत्पन्न झाली पाहिजे. कारण शेवटी इच्छा तिथे मार्ग. ज्या ठिकाणी इच्छा असते त्या ठिकाणी बरोबर आपल्याला मार्ग सापडतो. नव्हे तर तो ईश्वरच आपल्याकडनं ते कार्य आपलं पूर्ण करून घेतो. म्हणून त्यामुळे फक्त इच्छा आपण केली पाहिजे आणि त्या दृष्टीने प्रयत्नही केले पाहिजे. नुसती इच्छा करूनही बसणं चालणार नाही, तर त्यासाठी आपले प्रयत्नसुद्धा तितकेच महत्त्वाचे आहेत. म्हणून त्यामुळे सर्वात पहिले आपल्या मनामध्ये विचार तर उत्पन्न झाले पाहिजेत की माझ्याकडे काय आहे आणि कशा पद्धतीने मी इतर लोकांची मदत करू शकतो. कारण शेवटी तेच पुन्हा आपल्या शेवटी कर्म, आपण काय पेरतो आहोत, जे पेराल तेच उगवणार आहे. आपण जर चांगले विचार पेरले तर चांगलंच त्याचं फळ आपल्यासमोर उत्पन्न होणार आहे. म्हणून दॅट्स वाय इट इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट दॅट व्हॉट वी आर सोईंग. सो द सीड्स ऑफ गुड थॉट्स, द सीड्स ऑफ ब्युटी, the seeds of happiness, the seeds of peace, then definitely the ultimate production will be the same, but it is on very larger scale because the mother earth is going to provide you on a very plenty of scale. For example, if you sow the grains of wheat, a handful grains of wheat, then you are going to have the grain in a tons. On the same level, if you sow a handful of happiness, then definitely the complete society is going to have the happiness. So what you are sowing, what you are serving is very important and the time that is now. आज उद्या करत बसण्यात वेळ वाया घालवू नये. आत्ता आणि आत्ताच कोणतंही काम शुभस्य शीघ्रम असं आपण म्हणतो. आज उद्या नव्हे तर आत्ता आणि आत्ताच कोणत्याही कामाला सुरुवात केली पाहिजे, त्याचा आरंभ केला पाहिजे. अशा पद्धतीने नाव इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. आत्ता आणि आत्ताच ही वेळ येऊन ठेपलेली आहे. म्हणून त्या ठिकाणी कोणताही असा काही वेळ नसतो की अमुक वेळेमध्येच काम सुरू केलं पाहिजे, अमुक व्यक्तींसोबतच सुरू केलं पाहिजे, माझे हे प्रियजन आहे. तसं नाही. ह्या धड्याच्या माध्यमातून आपल्याला असं दिसतं आहे, ह्या गोष्टीच्या माध्यमातून एक सर्वात महत्त्वाची गोष्ट आपल्यासमोर आली, ती म्हणजे आत्ता आणि आत्ता हा क्षण सर्वात महत्त्वाचा आहे आणि त्या क्षणामध्ये आपण कोणासोबत आहोत ते लोक आपले खरे सोबती आहेत. अशा पद्धतीने आपण काम करणं गरजेचं आहे आणि त्या स्वतःसोबतच इतर समाजातल्या सर्व घटकांचा विचार करणं गरजेचं आहे. कारण आपली शिकवणच आहे, सर्वे सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखात् भवेत्. अशा पद्धतीने सर्वांचं हित चिंतणारे आपण सगळेजण आहोत. त्यामुळेच आपण अशा दृष्टीने प्रयत्न करणं गरजेचं आहे. धन्यवाद.